Welcome everyone to the Leadership Advancement Mentorship Podcast, a podcast that showcases the journeys of great leaders and how mentorship has really affected their thoughts and their effectiveness as a leader. But today we're doing something special because we having the Parent Empowered Annual Global Conference. You know, this is the greatest conference in leadership at the parenting space. And this is the first time ever we'll be doing it. And we've been having all those great speakers. We've already have a preview on those speakers. You can go to Dr. Michael Koku and the YouTube to get a feel of all those speakers. And another speaker that we are here to speak with, is Miss Gina Watts. And let me tell you, one of the most busiest personality that I know is Miss Gina. She's wearing many hats, but she has one beautiful hat, So today we're going to get to know her, and then so she'll be telling us what to expect from our own section during the Parent Empowered Annual Global Conference coming up next month, December 16. If you are here to register, you need to go and get yourself registered. It's free, it's global, and it's virtual. So wherever you are on planet Earth, you can be a part of this great occasion to close the year. Yeah, so let's welcome the elephant in the room that doesn't need any introduction, Miss Gina Watts. How are you?
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I am just continue to be humbled by this opportunity to be a part of this inaugural event. I'm so looking forward to this conference and all of the speakers, and the fact that I get to join the stage and share the stage with you and lead out in a session is just a wonderful end to my 2023 year.
Yeah. Wow. That was awesome. That was great. Coming from you, that means a lot to me. You see, one thing I like about Ms. Gina is there's something about meeting great people. Maybe you see them, you read about their post, and meeting them one-on-one. I know she has forgotten this. And when I met her in Orlando, wow, she is very real. She is so real. And we took a picture together. She forgot that one too. But she's very available. She's very accessible. And that's something I respect about greatness. Great people don't make you feel small, and that's something I say about her. And that's why I was so excited when we are working on this conference, and then we just talking about the speakers, and she came up. I said, wow. I said, yes, we're going to have her. And we've worked together on those process. We've done some pre-Zoom meeting just to get to where we are now. Ms. Gina, I want people to know who you are and what you do. So let's meet you. Who is Ms. Gina Watts?
Oh, well, you mentioned earlier, I wear a lot of hats, and I do. So I'll try to keep this brief. So I have the fortune, and one of the hats I wear is serving as a faculty member and global director of youth programs for the Maxwell Leadership enterprise, and specifically focused on the certification team. And so Maxwell Leadership refers to the founder who we're named for, John Maxwell. And under his leadership expertise, there are several companies that make up the enterprise. And one of those is a certification team that we're excited to share that has 50,000 members worldwide. And so I joined that team in 2013, but I went to my first event in 2014. So I've been there 10 years. And over time, I started using the leadership principles of John Maxwell and the various resources we have to serve young people. And leadership asked me, hey, can you teach other people how to do this? And so by the grace of God, I was given the opportunity to do just that. So I get to serve in that capacity. And then I also work with a church in Columbus, Ohio, and I oversee mission ministries, basically the outreach arm of the church. It's about 15 different ministries that focus on serving our community. So everything from free health clinic services to providing citizenship and naturalization services through our lawyer on staff, to classes, events, and leagues, to licensed childcare center and after school program, to in-school mentoring, to a food pantry, all those types of things. I get to help lead a team of wonderful individuals to serve the community. And we serve probably about anywhere between 15 to 25,000, depending on the month, of people every month.
Wow.
So,
that's a whole lot.
yeah. And so that's kind of like my professional background. But in my personal life, I get to be a mom to two boys. I'm a mom of boys, and one's 25 and one is 5. And I've given birth to both of them. And I have a wonderful husband, Eric, as well. And so, yeah, I have a very full life, but I'm able to find harmony and really
wow. That's awesome. That's great. One of the classic, because you also write, one of the things I've read from you that really inspired me in my early days in the Maxwell Leadership is the law of the bench.
Yes.
And I mean, that really touched me. And in fact, that's when I went to go and read the 17 undisputable law of teamwork. And so in your experience with working as a team, what do you think is the greatest challenge as a team player? What do you think,
that's a great question. The bench is a very important part of a team. Sometimes when we think about, let's use basketball, for example, we think about everybody that's on the court at the same time playing, and we might not think about the bench. But the reality is we need the people on the bench to support us in the process, cheering for us, encouraging us, yelling out plays, yelling for us to pay attention to what's happening that maybe we might miss or not see, right? And then we also need them, like if you're playing basketball, you might get hurt and you need somebody to replace you. Otherwise, you're going to be a man down on the court. So I think for me, when I think about teamwork and being a team player, a challenge, John Maxwell always says the hardest person to lead is yourself.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes when we get in team environments, we get so focused on either what we can contribute to the process or the team, or we focus on what other people aren't contributing to the process. And I think the hardest thing or the biggest challenge when thinking about a team is taking time to reflect and see where you fit in and showing up humbly in a way that adds value to the whole process, including the other people that are involved. You might have the best idea. You might have probably even the solution that's needed, but the way in which you deliver it and the way in which you are intentional with your delivery of that communication is what's going to set you out, from others.
Wow, that's awesome. Talking about delivery, it's such a great thing. You see, I can go to anywhere with you. I can go north, I can go east, I can go west. And let me share something with you. Someone said news is information from the north, from the east, from the west, and from the south. And that's something about you. You got so much inside of you that we can go anywhere in the world. I can go north, east, west, south. But where I want to go today is the parenting space. That's where I want to go. So, and I promise you, we're going to bring you back and for some other stuff that you have, especially one part I'm interested in bringing you back is the youth. That's the part I'm going to bring, because I know if we take out your heart, we can do that because you still live, the passion that you have for youth is unequal. And I know what I'm talking about. I've seen you in your elements, and I've seen how you were really instrumental to the Global Youth Initiative in the Maxwell brand. I mean, Ms. Gina, you've done a lot to really inspire people, and every match and was it August still? I mean, twice a year. I mean, you always rally people around. But today we're going towards parenting space. So I promise you all that you listen to me. That ask me about Miss Gina. We're gonna bring Miss Gina back for you because I'm thinking about a special youth section, because we want to inspire the youth and to know that they are not forgotten. Yeah. So today I want to move towards the parenting space. So next month we having this event called Parent Empowered and the Parent Empowered Annual Global Conference. Now this vision came to me and because the group is called PL, that's what the platform is. The platform is PL. PL is Parent Empowered Academy for Right Leadership. So and one other brand that we've dealt with is Women in Leadership League. Both of them are part of this LGC, the LAM Global Community that I started this year. And there's no way you can do anything of global significance without input from others. So I'm privileged to work with 16 strong leaders all around the world. 8 of them are Maxwell Leadership, and the 8 others, they are great leaders in their organization. So the coming together that we did has helped us to do what one person alone cannot do. Really, yeah. So right now, the global project we're working on right now is this parenting conference, and parenting really matters, because we're living in a time that in which parenting is a real pandemic, and even more than COVID, because everything that you see in the society right now is a failed parenthood. And I believe there are so many parents with the right heart. They have questions. They are looking for answers. So we want to really offer them a very positive alternative. So Ms. Gina, this theme of the conference is called Parenting Out of an Overflow. Parenting Out of an Overflow. So what do you think will be that parents should be expecting from this conference? You, one of the speakers, we have to go after you to get you. I remember how we have to wait for the confirmation because you want to confirm that time you got a Christmas event and all that.
Exactly.
You say, well, I mean, you got a 90% assurance. I said, no, I don't want that. I want 100%. And you can. And you give us the 100% confirmation. I was so excited. So tell us, what should parents expect from this Parent Empowered the annual global conference, the first of its kind? What should they expect?
Well, for the conference in general, I think that you and your team do an incredible job behind the scenes coordinating and planning such an important event. And I plan events every single day in all of my jobs. So I can know for sure that you do a fantastic job. I think the second thing is that the speaker lineup that you have is so unique, diverse, and from people who can really speak with authenticity and integrity to the topics that they'll be leading. So I'm very excited to see everyone present. And then specifically from me, you'll get someone who, speaking to what you just said about, like, I was trying to be honest about, like, hey, I think I'm 95% sure, and we work towards 100. And the reason why that is because my desire to be integrous, to do things in the manner in which I said that I'm going to do them, and to show up that way is so important to me. And so what you'll get from me is somebody who's integrous and who's transparent, and who will share with you stories from her own life that are relevant to our conversation about parenting out of an overflow. Remember, I have a 25-year-old and a 5-year-old. So I've been parenting a while, and I have 2 kids at 2 different stages of their life. One I talk to about car insurance, the other one I play Hot Wheels with. So I can talk about a lot of different things, but so from a parenting standpoint, I'll share, but also I will talk to you from a lens of a professional who works with parents every single day. Every single day, people are trusting me with the charge and care of their children, and people are working with me to solve problems or challenges with their children or in their household. And so I'll also share with you as a professional. Part of my background that I didn't talk about is that I am a social worker by education and trade. And I also taught at Big Ten University in the United States for 10 years. And so I'm thinking about the global experience, right? The whole experience of the family through the lens of young people with a very important focus on parenting and its impact on them. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
Wow. Just for the benefit of our audience, I want to do something right now. So I want to share the promo just for them to just watch and to know what they can expect to get from this conference. And then we're going to continue back up with the interview that we have been. So let me just share this so that our viewers can enjoy this with us for a while.
You registered for the greatest parenting conference on earth in leadership exclusively for you? The conference is free, but you must register to attend, and I guarantee you that you will never be the same again. At this conference, you will learn parenting tips for the 21st century, how to overcome your limiting beliefs, how to grow your resilience, how to develop your relational leadership skills, how to develop emotional intelligence, how to bridge the relationship gaps, and so many more. From speakers Dr. Michael Koku, Mute Olore, Deborah Holt, Gina Watts, and Tim and Angela Brown. Take a stand for excellence and register today at eventcreate.com/e/Pearl2023. Don't be that one person who missed out. Do it now and register today.
So if you are yet to register, you have no excuse. This event is free. And once it is free, there's no expense, there's no excuse. And I want you all to know that these speakers they are what the people that we pay, but they have chosen to invest themselves in people. And that's why I just shared that promo with you. Then also we're going to put in this podcast, we're going to put the link for you to register. The registration link is eventcreate.e/PR2023. And Ms. Gina, welcome back to the second segment. And quickly, let me ask you about, when you talk about your background as a social worker, I've been privileged to work in Salvation Army and West Philadelphia and for 10.5 years. And I was a program administrator of the after school program. So I get the feel that you talk about, and especially this time of the year, in Salvation Army, we deal with toy giveaway. It's a whole, I'm part of the leadership that put everything together. You're dealing with the community, but you talk about serving 15,000 people in Ohio. Per month, that's a lot, So what have you seen that in the parenting space? What do you think that many parents, because like I said, you are not a philosopher, you are a practitioner. So what have you seen and from your observation that parents are going through, especially this time and age of technology? Dr. Tim almost said, we are not raising teenagers, we are raising screenagers. Screen.
True story.
What do you think is the greatest challenge of parenting, and how do you think parents can solve this problem? Thank you.
I think at any stage of the world, right? So no matter what season we find the world in, I think one of the hardest things for parents to do is to create healthy boundaries for their children and say no. And let their no be no, and let their yes mean yes. And so I think that that's an issue no matter what. So whether it's in the season of high tech and children being on screens all the time, or it's I'm sure that problem was still the same before we had technology the way we have now. Letting your no be no and letting your yes be yes, and providing clarity to your children. I think is one of the hardest challenges parents have. I know myself, when my oldest was in preschool and elementary school, so this is like 20 years ago, a lot of his peers had gaming stations and were sitting in front of the television. And I was a young mom. So this means I'm, in my early 20s, and I'm telling him no, when everyone around me is demonstrating a yes and saying it's okay. Like his grandparents, his aunts and uncles and cousins, like everybody around us is saying yes to this thing. And I'm saying no, because one, we can't afford it and I can't keep up with it. Two, it doesn't add value to him, creativity, like from a creative standpoint that I wanted him to experience. And so for me, that's not a dig on anybody that does do that. It just didn't work for our family. And so my no was no, and my yes was yes.
Yeah.
20 years later, I have the same problem, right? It did the fact that they're in two different generations doesn't change the problem. Around my toddler, my preschooler right now is folks who constantly have, iPads or tablets at dinner tables, or watch every show possible, whether age appropriate or not. And he is in a space where he knows that he's not watching it and that he can't have the same conversations with his friends. And he is on the outside. But my no is no. And my yes is my yes. And so that's hard. That's hard at any stage with anything, that when you feel pretty strongly, you have a strong conviction about something that you feel is the best decision for your child at that particular stage. And everything and everyone around you is the opposite of that. That can be a major challenge. And so I think a lot of parents are trying to find ways for their no to be no, and it not be at the detriment of their children, and their yes be a yes that is for the good.
Then how best can they do that? So what's best practices have you seen? Yeah.
So I think that a way to manage that is, one, back to the leading yourself, right? So you can't, I think an important thing is, if you have to know why your no is no and why your yes is yes. And that comes from leading yourself. So you could say, like, I believe this, but if you don't have it, if you don't have a clarity about why you believe that and can articulate that, it's going to be harder for you to stay connected to that conviction, right? So one is lead yourself and get really clear about what your no's are and what your yeses are. I think two is surrounding yourself in community. I think too often, and especially through COVID, I think with COVID, I think people either leaned into community with people, or they became more isolated from community, right? And parenting is not meant to be done in isolation. I have been a single parent for a whole 18 years, and I have been a co-parent with a very present and dedicated husband for 5 years. It's different, but I had community both times, right? So I had my family, specifically with my oldest and with my youngest. I'm not living in a community where my family is. So I have people around me that have the same beliefs that I do, and not in an echo chamber way. Hear me. That's not good either, but in a way that challenges me in a healthy way, but also supports me and supports my decision making, and doesn't go against necessarily what I'm doing with my son in a positive way. So so you have to have community. Parenting isn't meant to be done in isolation.
So you mentioned lead yourself. Number two, you mentioned surrounding yourself with community. And then also, is there more that you want to share?
I would say those two are good. I don't want to give away everything I'm going to
Let
talk
them
about.
come for the
Come
conference.
to the conference.
That's good. That was good. Let's save that. Let's save that for those that will register for the conference. Thank you for reminding me that I can be the liberal part of me want to give everything away. No, we're gonna keep that. We keep that in the grill, on the grill, in the microwave for those that will be coming for the conference.
That's
Now,
right.
this thing I want to ask you is, what is the greatest lesson that you've learned in parenting, and who did you learn that from?
Wow, that's a great question. What's the greatest lesson I've learned in parenting, and who did I learn it from? Oh, glory. I would say, because parenting is all about learning every day, right?
Yeah.
Like even with my 25-year-old. I would say two. Can I give you two and not one?
Oh, sure. You can.
So one is.
I thought we want to give them one so that they can come for the second one.
Yeah. Oh, I could give 10, but I'll just do two right now.
Okay.
So one I would say is from my children, and that is that giving your best is required. Like giving your best to your children in the manner of your energy, your time, your the best of you to your children is required. But also that your children will love you and offer you grace as they know that you're giving your best, right? So like sometimes we come up with these standards of life that our children don't need, nor do they want. And we come up with these standards that become unreachable for us, which in turn, we think we're giving them our best because we're giving them things, or we're giving them experiences, or we're giving them things that cost a lot of our time, our energy, our money. When giving our best doesn't necessarily mean that. Giving our best looks like, oh, you need to stay home from school. Okay, I just need to not be at work today. And not working while they're there with you, but you're not you're not going to make sure you're still working. You're like present with them and caring for them and supporting them. So, it's required that we give our best, but that also believing our children will offer us grace. They're pretty resilient, and they're not the ones asking for what our standards are, right? Wow. And then I think the second thing is a lesson from my mom. My mom is a deeply loving person. She loves people so hard. I have shared her as a mother with so many people in my life because she was also a teacher. And
are you the only child?
No, I'm not. I have a brother. I have a younger brother. He's 2.5 years younger than me. But yeah, my mom, I would say my mother taught me to value memories over things. And so I remember piling up in a car and going to visit a lady that was my dad's godmother, 3 hours away. We lived in Pennsylvania, but we would drive 3 hours to Ohio, and we would go, and it would be the greatest adventure ever. And my mom wasn't even married to my dad anymore, but we would go to this lady. Her name was Virginia, and we called her Miss Jen. And my mom would pack us up, and we'd go visit. And it was like, oh my gosh, we're going on this major vacation. We were going to Ohio for a couple hours, right? Or we would do that and go to Philadelphia, right? Or right outside of Philly in Sicklerville. And we'd go visit family. But whatever my mom did, whether it was taking a road trip, doing an activity locally in our community, or, participating in a cleanup and serving, or it could be something like a big major vacation.
Yeah.
She always was intentional about the memories we make. And to this day, we go as a family of like 12 people to the beach every summer. And it's to make the memories. And so I think that's one of the best things I've ever learned from my mom.
Wow, that's awesome. We don't want to give everything out today.
Yeah,
So
no more.
Quickly tell them why they need to be at the conference. That's the last thing I'm going to ask from you.
Yes, I think that, like I said, parenting is not meant to be done in isolation. We need community.
Yeah.
And some of us have access to community right where we are. And some of us need to reach out and hear from and connect to others who are willing to share their heart on the matter. And not everything we say will be right or perfect or fit for you or your family, but I challenge you to do this. When you go to register for this event, I challenge you to put on this hat and think of it this way, that my registration is my yes to become a better parent, a better auntie, a better uncle, a better friend to those young people in my life, and that I will get at least one thing out of this event that could help me transform the way that I connect with those around me.
Wow, that was awesome. Thank you so much. We'd like to release Ms. Gina. Before you go, tell people where they can find you. I know where to find you. Yeah. So tell people where they can find you.
They can find me at this event where I can give them more information about how to be connected to me. But I do have a website. It's GinaWatts.com, GinaWatts.com. You can find me there. I'm also on LinkedIn under Gina Watts. So
wow, that's awesome. So there you go, viewers and listeners. I want you to know that this conference is going to change your life. It's going to transform your life. And like I said, the Father is free. It doesn't mean that it loses its value. No, it is just like what Miss Gina talks about intentionality. We want to create memories because we value memories over things. And that's why we're not putting a price on it. I remember the last conference we had, some people during the conference, they were chatting that they don't believe this is free. We don't bring local speakers. We bring global speakers. We bring people behind the Global Youth Initiative. And so this is a GPI, Global Parent Initiative. So it's going to be very exclusive. I tell you, I'm so excited. It's just 18 days. And at the day of recording, this recording will be out next Tuesday. We're going to post this thing out. Ms. Gina, thank you for your time. Thank you so much. And like I said, I don't bring speakers back like that, but we're going to bring you back. And Chris Robinson has been here before. He was here during the match. It was a great time with him. So thank you all, everyone. So go register for the event. And don't forget that this event is free, it's virtual, and it's global, and it's going to change your life. Thank you.